Hello, and welcome to another episode of The End of the Search. This one I call it Non-duality is not awakening. What I mean by that is there's a comment in one of the videos that says, I just don't get this non-duality thing at all. If enlightenment means going through life constantly trying to refer to myself in the third person as in John Williams or whatever the name is, does this or thinks that, then I am out. Just because everything eventually disappears into the black hole where it came has no bearing on my trip in the here and now. It's my life and I am in the play, not the audience watching it. Okay, I understand the comment and I think there's a couple of misunderstandings here. Well, first of all, non-duality is something we cannot even talk about. So why bother, right? Because non-duality would refer to as the essence, beingness, what we are. Right now, you cannot negate the fact that you exist or you feel that you exist. That's life. See, well, that's the essence. That's non-dual in a sense that it's not divided, it's the background. It's like when you're sleeping and you're dreaming. The truth would be the mind dreaming the dream. In the dream, you cannot talk about the mind because the dream itself is a obstacle, is a distraction to the mind. You see, only the mind would know that is mind. In the dream, you can speculate about suggesting that, oh, there's a mind that is dreaming me. Yeah, but in the end, from the dream, all that is experienced is the dream, and that's all. So we don't need to talk about the mind. All we need to do is withdraw attention from the dream, or the mind would have to do that because it's not even the ones in the dream doing it. So we don't have to worry about that, non-duality or whatever. Don't worry about the language. Let's focus on what is practical. And what is practical here is that when there's no identification with the content of the mind, with the thoughts, what remains is peace. Doesn't mean that you disappear and that you will not live your normal life. You will still live your normal life. It just so happens that with a different mindset. That's a difference. And then it says here, if enlightenment means going through life constantly trying to refer to myself in the third person, no. Enlightenment, for the sake of these videos, I don't know, some people may have a different meaning for that. I don't know, but for these videos, enlightenment is not you walking around thinking in third person or so, because that would be the same ego. That would be the same individual thinking that now he has achieved something, or he's talking in third person. That is, I don't talk in third person. I live life like everybody else. But when there's a recognition of the fact that I am, now the content of the dream is not taken so seriously. It doesn't have the same effect, doesn't have the psychological effect that has when someone is very identified with the thoughts, So for these videos, for the purpose of these videos, if you want to use the word enlightenment, which I don't like to use them, I don't like to use words like enlightenment or awakening or anything because, again, it makes no sense to me. But for the sake of these videos, enlightenment would be when you don't believe the content of the mind. See the difference? So you live in the world, just like we all do, doing the same things, whatever you're supposed to do, and it doesn't matter. Nothing is going to change except the way you begin to live life, the way you interact with the world. It's not like you're saying to yourself, I'm in third person or whatever. No, it's just simply life unfolding. Now, I will say this though. Nisargadatta Maharaj used to suggest, instead of saying I am seeing, you could say that seeing is happening. Instead of saying I am, breathing, or I am hearing, or I am feeling, breathing happens, feeling happens. It's really a way of not personalize everything, because again, when you live life from this mindset, what happens is that now you're more like the observer of the movie rather than the one who's caught up in it, while you're still playing the role in the movie. You see the difference? So it's not about denying our sense of our identity, well, technically speaking, our identity is a false one. The identity is the belief that I'm this separate individual, and that's what has an identity. The truth of what we are has no identity, simply is. However, we can live in the world with a mind that is not of it. See the difference? And the difference is not that you will stop doing the things you do in life. The difference is that you will do them in peace. See, you don't take them seriously. Life is just simply events that takes place, a seeming, the passing of situations, circumstances, images and thoughts, feelings, sensations, but none of that affects the fact that you are. This is what these videos are pointing to, and this is actually the practicality of this. So you could say that if you don't believe your thoughts, if you don't believe the content of the mind, well, that'd be enlightenment. You see, that would be becoming enlightened, because then the mind fabricates enlightenment as a extraordinary experience, something that will happen in the future where you're gonna be in bliss or see light or something. And again, that's still another experience that is not really leading to where these videos are pointing to. People talk about being awakened or so. Well, if awakened means that you don't believe your thoughts, well, that's fine. We can use that word, but I'd rather not to use any of those words. I'd rather just keep it simple. Right now, let's put it to the test to see that this is not theoretical. Right now, can you say that you're not being? Can you honestly say that you don't exist? I mean, in this sense, you feel alive, right? The liveness, you said here, it's my life and I'm in the play. Again, the question is, who is the you you're speaking about? Is it your life, or you are life that seems to be taking the shape of a seeming you? You see? So it's not really that it's my life, it's just life. See, I am. And again, just because I am doesn't mean that I go speaking in a third person. There's an awareness that I am. There's an awareness that this is a play. And simultaneously, I play the game. Sure, what's your name? My name is Nick. Where are you from? I'm from Puerto Rico and whatever. And these are labels, but I don't have to believe them. And yet, I can still play the game just like everybody else. But for some reason, when you can see through the veil of evolution, the wanting to chase and pursue things, assuming that they can somehow complete me or make me happy or whatever, that falls by the wayside, because you're already happy. See? If I'm already happy, if I'm already at peace, I don't need to chase anything. I don't have to go after anything. And yet, if the inspiration comes for me to do something, sure, why not? It's no big deal. In the end, it's not even me the one who's doing it. It's life doing it. And if you have any questions about it, I suggest you watch the video, which is called Do We Have Free Will? The link is on the description, because I go in detail explaining why we are not actually the doers. But again, within what you're sharing here, you said, just because everything eventually disappears into the black hole from whence I came has no bearing on my trip in the here and now. Again, when you go to bed at night and you fall into deep sleep, where are you? What I mean by that is that, do you have conscious of yourself? No, you disappear, literally. Well, that's pretty much it. So every night when we go to a deep sleep, there's a disappearance. I don't know where I am. I don't know who I am, because I don't exist. When I wake up in the morning, and again, if you don't want me to use when this body wakes up in the morning, okay, I'll use the same I, no big deal. When I wake up in the morning, that's when it seems as though I exist. And I experience life like everybody else. The difference is that, once again, feelings, sensations would come up, thoughts show up, experiences seems to take place, all of that still happening, The difference again is that when I don't believe the content of the mind, I experience the peace that surpasses all understanding, which is what these videos are pointing to. I could also call these videos, instead of the end of the search, could be the end of suffering. I could call it that way too. It'll be a pretty good name to consider. Because in the end, if you don't believe the content of the mind, we don't have to talk about non-duality or label it enlightenment or something. When you don't believe the content of the mind, one thing is for sure, there's no suffering. Yeah, there'll be pain and pleasure as part of the human experience or seeming human experience, but there's no suffering because you know who you are. And this is what these videos are pointing to. And once again, let's put it to the test right now, right this moment. Can you say you're not? Can you say that you don't exist? Can you say that you are not? I mean, can you say you're not being? You see, that is not being denied. That is your life experience or seeming life experience. Now, being is one thing. Now, the question is, what are you being? If you think that you are this human experience because your thoughts tells you that, then you're believing your thoughts. Not believing the thoughts, again, doesn't mean you don't play the game. I can pretend that I'm Nick. Hi, I'm Nick Arandes. This is my name. I was born in Puerto Rico. I was raised with my mother and my grandmother. I can give you their names and everything. But I know that in the end, these are just thoughts that are passing by right now that have nothing to do with the fact that I am. And like I said, I still play the game. And once again, I don't go speaking in third person. Just life is happening, just again. So let's not make the simple complicated. You live your normal life because it's going to happen anyway, whether we think we like it or not. And again, watch the video, Do We Have Free Will? I suggest you watch that video. And then you don't have to worry about enlightenment or awakening or something like that because you already are. The only difference is that now you're being less distracted. That's the difference. The distraction doesn't seem to get a hold of you. Because you say over here, you know, it's my life, I'm in the play, and I not the audience watching it. Well, once again, it's not about being the audience watching it. It's that if you want to take credit for whatever happens in this life, you're going to have to be willing to take credit for the things you don't want to take credit of as well. You see? We like to say, I'm proud of what I did, but then when you do something that you wish you haven't done, you feel guilty, you feel bad. Well, here we're not suggesting that there are not going to be consequences. Yeah, if you rob a bank and they catch you, you're probably going to jail. These are consequences. But they carry the guilt of thinking, look what I did, that falls by the wayside because somehow you know that life is living itself through you because, again, you are life. It's not that this is your life, it's that you are life itself. And when you know your life, you don't feel separate. And because you don't feel separate, the fear immediately drops. And now you feel that you're one with wholeness while you're still playing the game. You see? And when most people call it coincidence or synchronicities, to you that those names doesn't exist anymore because you know it's part of life. Oh man, I'm lucky, look what happened. No, that was supposed to happen and life was taking care of life. So since life is taking care of life and I am life, I don't have to worry about what I'm going to eat, what I'm going to do, whatever is being done through me already. All I need to is remember that when the mind engages, when there's thoughts and they try to project possible futures and past and things like that, I can go back and be here. You see? That's it. I am. Life unfolds. And then, yeah, it's a play, absolutely. But the play is not my play. It doesn't take seriously, you know. It's just a play. That means absolutely nothing. Again, and now you can play the game without being caught up in it. And that's how you live a happy, peaceful life. Well, this is the inspiration that came through. I hope it served. And as always, may peace permeate the mind so that love can become evident.